All right, peace and blessings, and welcome to the Self-Publishing 30 Days podcast. I am your host, Rob YB Youngblood, President of Sales for Self-Publishing 30 Days, and I have the esteemed pleasure of talking to this gentleman, one of my Alpha brothers, and many of you have heard a number of Alpha brothers come through here, but this one actually takes the cake. Dr. Marlon Moore is someone that I've known for a number of years as a result of a relationship that opened up the door for us to connect. And this gentleman was the very first person to assist me in getting into the publishing industry, because I was able to get him established with Self-Publishing 30 Days. So Marlon, how you doing, good brother? Welcome to the Self-Publishing 30 Days podcast.
Hey, YB, I'm doing well. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Good. So Marlon, first book out the gate, there was something that prompted you to get into putting your book together. What was that event that prompted you to want to become a published author?
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you for putting me in the right space and with the right people. I launched my consulting business, Marlon Moore Consulting, about a year ago. And Marlon Moore Consulting is a business that helps organizations develop diversity, equity, inclusion strategies. So I had a really great job in corporate America. Things were going well, but then life changed. Social unrest began to manifest itself again. And there were a lot of organizations who were looking to move beyond just philanthropic endeavors. So two things happened. One, I saw an opportunity for me to take my 20 plus years of experience in diversity, equity, and inclusion and start a company that would allow me to support multiple organizations, for-profit, nonprofit, all across the country, and moving beyond words into action. So once I did that, I realized that, hey, you know what? I need a vehicle that will allow me to touch more people, even if I'm not sitting in their boardrooms or executive rooms. What can I leave them with that'll give them the roadmap to doing the work, is what I like to call it. So the book Diversity Starts With You was birthed in my mind. Reached out to you because I know you connect folks, and you connected me to Darren and the team, and things have just been phenomenal ever since.
I love it. Yeah, it's amazing how you are able to take your gift and turn it into something that impacts more people. I love what you said about it being able to affect or touch people, even though you may not be in their boardroom. Talk a little bit about the process of becoming an author, because most people struggle in this area. They talk about what they want to do. They even, have conversations, but they don't execute to put the actual book together. What was your experience, and how did you overcome any challenges to get to the point where your book was completed?
Yeah, that's a great question, YB. And one of the challenges I faced was I just finished writing a dissertation not too long ago. So in many regards, I had writer's fatigue. And so I had to push through that. That's the first thing. The second thing was I needed the content. I knew I wanted to write a book, but I had to really drill down to understand what is it I want to say. So I started, I think, overthinking it. I wanted this fancy title, and I'm thinking it needs to be 400 or 500 pages, and all of this stuff, which was just too much. So as I took the time to really think about it, I went back to the basics. Marlon, what is it you want to say? What is it you want folks to leave with? And really, that was just a guide to do the work, right? To build a DEI commitment statement, to build a DEI plan. And what I realized is that's what I'm helping companies do. Right. That's what my experience is. So I just took all of that knowledge of writing a commitment statement, the what's important, why is important, and who is responsible, put that on paper. The next step is having a DEI operating plan. Well, what's the biggest part of a DEI operating plan? You need strategic objectives. Took that out of my head and put it in paper. And so your team was very helpful for me to go to that next level, which was, Marlon, okay, so you have these great ideas and thoughts, you have them on paper, but kind of what's next? And so they added elements to the book like a journal reflective page, and a lot of other things that I think just enhance the product. But lastly, you know what was big for me, YB? You know, I said started out talking about 300, 400 pages, and I had to think about the average reader, you know, and from my vantage point,
right?
You know, do I want them to have to take a week, a 2 or a month to understand what it is I'm trying to say and get the nuggets that I'm trying to leave with them? And the answer was no. I want them to be able to read this on a flight. I want them to be able to read the book within a weekend so they can go do the work.
Right. Right.
And so that when I got through all of that, YB, it just made the process go a lot smoother. The team was extremely helpful. Darren meeting with me, you encouraging me, Stephanie guiding me along the way. It was just a great family. So I'm really happy with what we've accomplished together.
Now, given the time frame that we're doing this, right? So we're currently in the middle of October. We're filming this, and so we're in a time of national Hispanic Heritage Month or
National
right?
Hispanic Heritage Month.
Okay, so you did something special. So your book launched, right? A few weeks ago, right? Your book launched, your first book launched. And right after that, you did something amazing. What was it that you did?
So I realized that if I'm going to be a diversity, equity, and inclusion practitioner, which is someone who understands the power of inclusion, I realized that I had to live that. And so one of the most commonly used languages, at least here in the US, is Spanish. And I was really encouraged after visiting the Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, and others. And during those trips, I realized that they have similar challenges with diversity. It may be based on age or nationality, but those challenges exist nonetheless. And so in honor of my brothers and sisters in National Hispanic Heritage Month, I actually created a Spanish version of Diversity Starts With You. Going back with my folks at Self-Publishing in 30 Days. Again, you all have been phenomenal partners, and we shall be launching that really soon and look for an exciting reception in the Dominican Republic in the coming months.
My. It's amazing how just a year ago, you were launching your company, and then you made the decision to say, you know what, I want to put a book together. You followed the play, you ran the play, and now you're a published author. So what is life like now? Now that the book is done, you did a couple of book signings, you did your book launch up in Columbus. What is life like now? What kind of impact are you seeing as a result of completing this project?
Yeah, first of all, I'm just excited that it's done. I want to keep it real. And I'm just proud of the feedback. It makes my heart feel really, really great when a D&I practitioner or non-D&I practitioner can say, Marlon, this book is very helpful. I think one of the biggest compliments I received, YB, was when I did my book signing in Cleveland, Ohio, or Warrensville Heights, Ohio. Yeah. And a fellow DEI practitioner, this gentleman has his own business, his own clients. He said, Marlon, your book is so good. I'm going to use it with my clients.
Come on.
To help them understand the steps that are needed to develop a best-in-class diversity, equity, and inclusion strategy. That was one of the biggest compliments I could receive for a fellow peer to say this content is worthy enough to use this with a Fortune 100 client here in Cleveland, Ohio. So that's just been fun, watching the reactions and inspiring others. Mm-hmm. There are a number of friends that since we've connected, I've been able to connect with Self-Publishing in 30 Days, mm-hmm. and watching them launch their books and having their success and bring their ideas and thoughts to fruition with their books is just extremely exciting. So this is the fun part, I like to say. And even with that, I got to give you all a shout out. I thought I was going to write the book, put it out there and be done. But you and the team said, no, Marlon, there's more work to be done. You gotta have some signings and launches, and you got to get out there. And so I'm just thankful for the guidance that you all have provided every step of the way.
What would you say is your vision? So now that the book is done, and obviously you're making impacts on fellow colleagues, what would you say is your vision for the movement? Like, where do you see yourself? Where do you see the book? Where do you see your practice in the next 2 to 5 years? What's your vision?
So I plan on well, what I want to see is people get in. So here's my thing about diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's very simple in my mind. One, what's your motivation for change? Mm. What intrinsically motivates you to close the generational wealth gap, to close the pay equity gap, to drive economic inclusion through the use of minority women, minority women-owned businesses and other groups? Why? Why does that matter to you? Then once we find out what intrinsically motivates us, we have to go to action.
Right.
To go to action, we all realize what gets measured gets done. Mm-hmm. So you have to set strategic objectives. If your goal is to spend with more Black-owned businesses, you need a strategic objective that focuses on supplier diversity. Mm-hmm. If your true goal is to change the workforce demographics at your senior to executive levels, you need a workforce diversity strategic objective. Mm-hmm. So my goal is to see companies say, my representation matters, my supplier base matters, and put plans in place to do something about it. Diversity starts with you. That guide, that book is designed to help them do exactly that. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to see this book in companies on shelves, being talked about all across the world. And then we begin to see more diverse businesses gaining opportunities. Mm-hmm. We see more joint ventures between majority and minority firms. We see more senior vice president and executive vice presidents in corporate America and on nonprofit boards and the like. Mm-hmm. That's my vision and hope for the book and the work.
Yeah.
And then I just want to continue to be a blessing and be a resource for others. There's a lot I often heard you say we all have a story. We just need to get it out.
Yeah.
There's a lot that we can share that I think benefits the world. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to be a part of a couple of upcoming projects, hopefully, and just continue to get what's in my mind and heart out here to the masses.
I love it. I love it. So as we land the plane, Marlon, who needs to get this book? I mean, you sprinkled it in a little bit about, I know you mentioned diversity, equity, inclusion, professionals, but specifically, if say for example, they're listening to this podcast or they're watching it on YouTube, speak to those people. Who specifically needs to get their hands on your book?
So the book is entitled Diversity Starts With You, which means everybody. Robert Youngblood, Marlon Moore, everybody needs to understand what the true essence of diversity, equity, and inclusion is about. That's my first response. Secondly, if I were to be more specific, if you're a CEO, if you're a corporate executive, if you serve on any boards, for profit or nonprofit, if you're an HR professional, if you're in charge of purchasing or sourcing in the organization, Diversity Starts With You is designed literally for you because it gives the core concepts of how to create true equity, true inclusion in today's society. And again, if we're all trying to be better like we say we were and we say we are, there's work to be done. And I'm proud to say that this book puts us all on the right path.
I love it. I love it. So I'm gonna throw a little bit of a curveball. It's a question that I ask every guest that comes on here. Obviously, you're going to be a part of new projects coming up, but let's say your next book, right? Say, for example, you're getting ready to write your next book and self-publish in 30 days. I was cutting a check and we're going to send you anywhere in the world to write this book. Where would you go?
I would go to Antigua.
Okay.
I would go to Antigua. I've never been there. But from my research, it is extremely peaceful, tranquil, and just being in that type of environment, YB, really helps me to self-reflect and really become sort of one with my environment. And so I would go there and just kind of lay out and be one with the earth and the elements and go to work.
You sure you get any work done, man? Because you know you out there, it's so peaceful, man.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm gonna take my time. But when that feeling hits, one thing I've learned about myself, when I get going, it's hard to stop. So I would want to put myself in an environment to be at peace, and once the motivation hits, to go for it.
I love it. Listen, I'm godly proud of you, man. Tell us, how can we get a copy of your book, and how can people get connected to you?
Absolutely. So you can go to www.deistrategyguy, all one word.com. And please feel free to visit my website, which is very simple, marlonmoore.com. Or you can send me an email. Would love to hear from you all. And you can email me at marlon@marlonmoore.com.
Love it. Any final words that you'd like to share for those who are watching, those who are listening?
Yeah, I just want to say, again, we all have an opportunity to make a difference in our own way in society. The world we want to see will only happen if we're willing to be those transformational change agents. And that starts with each and every one of us, whether you're Black, you're white, you're seasoned, or you're young. We all have to find out what motivates us to create a better society than we found it. And then we have to go to work. And so I say that to those who are listening. And I just want to thank again, YBU and the Self-Published in 30 Days team, because this book, Diversity Starts With You, would not have happened without you all. So continue to be a blessing to all those that you come in contact with. I encourage you and wish you much success, and encourage you to continue to be authentic, which is so very important in today's world, for us to be our true selves and to be a blessing to others in a way that can be shared throughout the world. And so again, I just want to thank you and the team. And if there's anything I can ever do to be a resource, don't hesitate to let me know.
Most definitely, most definitely. Well, listen, you've been listening to Dr. Marlon Moore, a phenomenal part of our family, and we're godly proud of him. And as we wrap up, I just want to remind you to be encouraged, be blessed, but most of all, continue to share the faith, right? And what does share the faith means? It means that you walk in your gift, because your gift will make room for you. We'll see you next time. Peace.